Well, I haven't recorded for a little bit. I've been kind of busy with editing my book. I started writing my fiction book. I finished school, kind of doing some stuff like that. But I decided today that I was going to make a video. Had something kind of on my mind about recovery and sort of what that looks like, after toxic relationship, after like any kind of recovery, I guess I would say, is I think people like don't really get how difficult it is to figure out who you are like after. So before I got into recovery, before I was even in a toxic relationship, I was a horrible person. I wasn't a super great person. I wasn't who I am today at all. I hardly recognize who I used to be. So it was in my recovery where I realized like that I was toxic, I was narcissistic, I was codependent, I was controlling, I was angry, I was a name caller, I was so selfish. I was pretty terrible. I was a terrible wife, I was a terrible friend. It was in recovery where I figured out all of this and realized everything and then made the decision to look at myself, peel everything back, and figure out what kind of a woman I wanted to be. Like, who did I want to be? Not what kind of friend or mom, wife or sister or any of those things, but woman. Like, what kind of a woman did I want to be? And in recovery, I decided who I wanted to be. And I worked to become her. I worked to become happy, healthy, not codependent anymore. I'm not narcissistic anymore. I mean, I'm always going to be recovering from those things. I'm no longer angry like I was before. I mean, yeah, I still have emotions. I still have feelings. I still get angry, but it's a healthy anger. It's not so toxic anymore. So it's completely different. And the other day I was thinking about love and loving someone and what that was like. And loving someone today for me is completely different from how it used to be back when I was married, back when I was in my toxic relationship. I, felt like I loved someone, but then when I got mad or angry, I didn't love them anymore. I hated them. So my love would turn off and it would, and hate and anger and rage and frustration and all these horrible things would come up in place of love. I wasn't capable of understanding that you can love someone while angry at them. You can love someone while they're hurting you. You're not hurting you, but you know what I mean? Like disappointing you or frustrating you. You can still love that person and still have all those other feelings, but still care about them and want like the best for them, where there's no anger and like massive anger. There's nothing toxic and there's no hatred, and it doesn't go from one extreme to the other, where you can still love someone and be upset with them at the same time, but still care about them and still want to show up for them and still want to feed them and still want to, do whatever it is and still take their call and still spend time with them. It was something that I didn't really realize I was doing until lately. I didn't realize I had done that, is what I should say. And then working to figure all this stuff out, obviously it wasn't easy, like at all. In my second book, I write about my recovery and kind of like what that was like for me and the steps I went through and the process it was and how I got to be who I am today, which is a much better, healthier, happier version of who I was brought into this world, I guess. But another part of it was, yeah, trying to figure out like what kind of a woman do I want to be and who am I when I get mad? Who am I when I get disappointed? Who am I when I get frustrated? Who am I when all of these things happen? And I wasn't, really, really sure of who I was, but I did know who I wanted to be. So when I get upset now or frustrated now, I handle things in a completely different way. And it was interesting because today was like a test for me where I was in a situation and I was disappointed and I felt rejected and I felt frustrated and I felt angry all at the same time. And I got into my car and started driving, and I was like, man, I'm feeling all these things and I'm just so mad. And I thought about who I used to be and how I used to react in situations before I was in recovery, and sat there and really thought about it. And I thought about, who am I today and who do I want to continue being? And I decided to continue being the woman I've worked so hard to become. So I didn't react and didn't do things I normally would have done, and that's a huge victory for me, and I'm really happy about that. I'm really proud of myself for that, because it's not easy to not only figure out who you are, or who you want to be, but to work to get there. And then the more difficult part is to remain in that place, remain being that person that you want to be. And these are the decisions that I've made. This is who I want to be, and this is where I want to be. So I need to continue making the next right decisions in order to stay in this place that I work so hard to get to. So it's hard because in life, we never know if we're making the right decisions. We never know if we're putting our all into something that is going to give us the payoff that we're hoping for. We just don't know. So it's a risk to a degree, and it's you're just not sure if it's going to pay off. You can kind of give as much as you want and kind of wait and see how it goes, or you can give up on it and walk away and try to figure something else out. But for me today, I realized that I'm continuing to learn about myself and continuing to learn like who I am, how far I've come, and where I want to go, and like where I really want to be as a woman, as a human, as a person. So it's not easy to get to this point, and then it's even more difficult at times to remain at this place in your life where you continue to make the next right decisions and you continue to better yourself. So it's been an interesting day for sure, but I'm happy right now with the decisions that I've made, and happy that I've worked as hard as I did to become who I am currently. So if you're kind of struggling and trying to figure stuff out, just figure out who you want to be as a woman, who you want to be as a man, or whatever, and start like working toward that. Work toward that as your goal. And once you get there, it's not always easy to stay there, but it's 100% possible. And it's a much better place to be in.